files are getting delivered. Good morning, guys. What's up? So, I'm going to go ahead and give you a quick update of where I am with the build. I got a little carried away with building and left the camera behind. So I'm going to show you where I am, and then from this point out, I'll try my best to make sure that I'm showing you every step of the way. So let's call this the first tour video of the truck. I'll go through and show you what I have done so far, and then we'll continue to go on this journey together. Let's go. Alright guys, this is what she looks like from the outside. So right now we're standing on the driver's side of Shadow. As you can see, I have my whole loft area framed up. And this little part right here at the very, very top, that's the start of my roof sections going into place. I have the rest of my roof all along here that I need to get put in. But yeah, this is what she looks like from this side. Let's check out the other side. And here she is from the other side. We can see the front loft wall there in place. And if we walk around here a bit, sorry for the shakiness. I need a gimbal in my life. And we make our way to this side, and you can see her other profile. So right here, this guy right here, that is one of the windows that's going to be in my loft space. That bad boy is going to be 3 feet by 3 feet. I have one just like it on the other side. Right here is the wee little top of my door that's going to go all the way down inside of this space right here. Let's check out the inside. So before we go inside, I just want to show you the back. So eventually this back opening right here will also have a wall inside of it. But for right now, I'm leaving it open because it is my only entryway that's big enough for me to get all of the framing material in. At the very top here, this is the back wall of my top loft that's going to be on top of my bathroom area. This guy right here is another window. I tried to put a lot of windows in the space because I wanted to have as much natural light coming in as possible. Let's go inside and I'll show you how I framed it up and give you a close-up view of everything. So this is my loft area. I have the floor in, as we saw from the outside. I have my side walls, my roof panels are there. You can't quite see them in the frame right now. And then my back wall. This is where my main bedroom area is going to be for myself. Look how much roof height I have here. Like lots of headspace, which makes me very happy. This area here will be my storage area for my solar system, my battery bank on this side, and my water system, my water tank. I may even try to get my water heater in here as well. I haven't quite decided. I haven't decided where I'm going to put that bad boy yet. But yeah, water on this side, electricity on this side, and I'll show you guys how I framed all of this up in probably the next video or the next 2 videos, something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up so that you guys can see me walking around in this space, and I can show you how nice and sturdy it is. And then I'll go through and I'll show you the mechanics of how all of this is held together and assembled. Alright. So this is me standing up in this space. As you can see, the loft is only a little bit shorter than I am. I'm 5'6", and the loft is only a little bit shorter than that. But I'll have plenty of room to move around comfortably in the space. Right now, I'm walking out over the cab of the truck. And as you can see, the loft supports me just fine. I went through and I put a whole heck of a lot of bolts in this guy. It's connected in a whole lot of places. Remember, I put my walls in sections, so that means that this side wall is a section, this back wall is a section, this side wall is a section as well, and then the floor here is its own separate section, and it's connected to these walls here, that little short wall on the side, if you remember that guy from previous videos. The little short wall on the side, if you remember that guy from previous videos. And then it's also bolted down and connected to this storage area that's underneath me. So I'm going to bring you guys up here with me, and I'm going to show you where everything is connected, show you how I assembled all of this area, and then I'll show you a little bit more about the sidewalls that I have here. And that'll pretty much be the tour of where I am right now with the build before I continue the process moving forward. So right now we're sitting on top of the loft. This is the storage area I showed you guys earlier where my water tank will be. The electrical side is on the other side. And as you can see, the floor of the loft, which is this guy right here, it's sitting on top of the cross beams for the storage area that's below. I have it bolted down. So here I have my bolt and my nut, all of this orange-ish stuff you can see here. That's my Loctite. The reason why, I know I've mentioned this before, but I want to reiterate it. The reason why I'm using Loctite is because in the case of situations like this, there is no reason why this shouldn't rattle loose over time while we're driving. These guys here, the ones that are holding the studs together, these will be fine because for these particular assembly joints, there's going to be a wall or something on this side, the same that there is something bracing against the screw that is on this side. So it's going to be sandwiched and it's going to keep it from coming out. But that's not the case for these guys. So as we go through, I have a couple of nuts in place that's securing this down. And I also have one here as well that's securing this guy down to this little support wall that runs right here. I have the same situation happening on this side as well. Those are two nuts, and I have another one up front here and another one that's up front here. So I have a whole lot of connection points happening as we move our way around this one section of the wall, keeping it nice and stable and connected to this supporting structure that is underneath the loft floor. So this point here, you can see that line that runs between those two studs. That is the point where my loft section of wall meets these guys, my other established sidewalls of the truck. So I went through and of course made sure I bolted this guy in really well. So if we look inside of here, you can see a bolt down there. There's another one right here, and then there's another one right here as well. And then the bottom of this wall is this track that we can see running along there. And I have a bolt inside of this guy as well. This is bolting it down to this little short wall section right here. And that is what's keeping this sidewall semi-stable. This was the first phase of getting this wall assembled. Taking this whole bad boy here, this guy, taking this guy and then getting it connected there and there was the first phase of this process in terms of assembling my loft. If we look at this guy over here, we can see it from a distance so you can get a bigger picture view of what it looks like. See, pull it back. So that's what the whole loft wall looks like, and that wall was installed using the exact same process that I used to install the wall over to this side. So right now we're going to take a quick look at the front wall of the loft, which is this guy right here. So I was trying to figure out the best way to assemble this, and the two ways I thought about was either sandwiching it to the front outside of the studs. Let's step up here, shall we? So the two ways that I thought about doing it, one was having it attached to this outside face of this wall, and then the other way, which is the way I decided to go with, which was having it sit inside, so on the inside of this stud. And if we come down, you can see that it sits on the inside of the loft floor right here as well. So that's the start of my loft wall, and my loft front wall rather, and I definitely needed help to get this guy in. My roommate's dad, Frank, helped me out because he's an awesome person. I knocked in that very first screw that you could see there, and then I was able to also knock in, can I get closer? Yeah, I was able to knock in this screw as well. And then I had everything just clamped down, like you can see with those clamps there. These walls are all bolted in. The roof is bolted in as well, but I just have the clamps up there for a security measure just in case, because, well, you never know. So I have those guys in place just to make sure everything is nice and secure and safe up there. Anyway, so after I went through and I got this guy clamped in and got it perfectly positioned, I went in and I dropped in my nuts and bolts. So I have one here, I have one down there as well, I have one up here, and then I also went through and I put some in the floor. That's connecting the floor of the loft to the loft front wall, as we can see here. So walking our way across here. So I have one right there, and then it's another self-drilling screw that I put in place just to hold it there temporarily while I positioned it and got it ready to go. On this side of the wall, I have nuts and bolts in place, as you can see. So in terms of the sturdiness of this loft, it is extremely sturdy. I can stand up in it. You can see right now I'm standing over the cab of the truck and I'm completely secure. It's really strong. I had no idea if this was going to work out the way that I was planning because I'm no engineer, but it worked out. And as you can see, I can stand on it, walk on it. It can support my weight with no problem at all. So these guys are my roof sections. I only have 2 sections installed at this moment. I have this front one here that we can see, and then I have a second roof section installed right here. This guy runs over the split where the loft sidewall meets the taller walls of the back of the truck. So I wanted to make sure that I overlapped this guy so that it could join those seams together. I have the same scenario happening on this side as well. This guy, I have this bracket here that's it was temporarily holding it in place, but once I have this all the way secure, it's really secure, but I want to, like, I'd rather do too much than do not enough, over engineer it rather than under engineer it. So I'm gonna go and put in a couple more bolts before I remove this to make sure that it is as secure as it should be, and maybe I might just leave this thing on altogether. I haven't decided yet. But I feel like if I don't take it off, it's going to get in the way of my walls when I get ready to install my inner walls. I'm not really sure about that. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But I have time to figure it out. So yeah, these are my roof sections. The same way that I bolted everything else in, I bolted these guys in as well. So there's multiple bolts that run along the length of my roof sections, holding these guys in place. The same can be seen for this side of my wall as well, I have bolts in place holding these guys nice and strong and secure. And then in terms of where my roof sections meet each other, I also have lots of bolts holding those guys in place as well. So all I have to do now to finish up my framing, take it around this way, is to finish this. So this is my open area for right now, and I need to finish framing out my roof sections for here. I think that I'm going to need a little bit of assistance to get these sections of roof up and in place so that I can bolt them. It was a little bit easier to get it done with the loft section because I had this floor that I was able to put the roof section on top of. Then I was able to physically climb on top of here and just hoist it into place. I don't have that same luxury as I move my way into the rest of the truck. So I think I'm going to need a few extra hands to help me hold these guys in place so that I can get them into position and finish framing this bad boy out. The last little section of wall that I have in place that I haven't shown you guys is the back loft wall for the loft that's going to be on top of the bathroom area. So right here, this is my bathroom area on this side, and I'm going to have a really nice size closet on this side. Don't pay any attention, or pay attention rather, to all of the dark marks on the floor. They are not mildew. What it is the metal shavings from the studs and from me drilling holes into the walls. Basically, they deposit themselves into the wood and they kind of oxidize. So this is just a chemical reaction. I thought it was mildew. I came through the bleach solution and I'm like, I'm going to scrub this out. But it is in fact not mildew. I found out with more research in time. Anyway, this is my upper loft back wall here. I have a nice size window there. It is the same size as the window that I have here. This is going to be my kitchen area. So my stove about right here is going to be where the wall runs for my bathroom closet area. So my stove will be in this area right here. And then my countertop will run until here. And then at the very end of my countertop, I'm going to have a fold up extension that'll fold up in front of this beautiful giant hole, which is going to be my front door area right there. So I told you guys that I'll show you the framing of this area in a later video, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of what this looks like, and I will show you how I created it probably in the next video. This is the storage area where, again, my solar system will go here and my water system will go there. And it leads you into a nice passageway that takes us into the cab of shadow there. One last thing I'm going to show you before I sign off this video. I just wanted to give you a close-up tour of the way that my walls, my inner wall framing is attached to my external wall. And I'm using, again, the same system that I showed you up top. So here's my nut and my bolt. You can see my Loctite. And I have so many of these all throughout the truck, attaching this wall on the outside to my inner framing. And then where my studs meet here, my wall sections meet each other, I have nuts and bolts down there attaching these guys to each other to keep them nice and sound and sturdy. And this is my giant window. I mean, this thing is huge. It's going to be, I believe it's 4 feet by 5 feet, something like that. But it is It's a huge, beautiful window, and I cannot wait to see what it looks like once it is fully installed and this excess wall is cut away and all of that good stuff. Really excited about the amount of windows I put in this space. This is the last window, I think. Yep, this is the last one. And this is the window that's going to be in the bathroom. So my tub is going to be right in front of this window. And this window has frosted glass, so I'll have a little bit of privacy, but then I'll also have a really good source for ventilation and just sunlight, natural daylight coming into the bathroom. So that's where I am, guys. That is a tour of my space as it currently exists. This awesome, amazing project that is in progress. Work starts for me next week, which means that I am only going to be able to really work on this truck on some weekdays, maybe Tuesday, Thursdays, and then I'll be able to work on her during the weekend. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but I'm going to try to be as productive as I possibly can. With building the loft, I knocked this out in 2 days. And by knocked it out in 2 days, I mean I constructed the walls, I assembled them, cut the metal, assembled them, put them all together. That means the same thing as assembled them. And then I came in and I got all of this installed, as well as those 2 loft wall sections over the course of 2 days. So I know that when I really push myself and I have a to-do list to work from, that I can get a lot accomplished in a pretty relatively short period of time. So that's going to be my goal once school starts. I will work, teach my classes, be the best professor that I can possibly be. I'm not sure if I mentioned that to you guys. I think I probably have, but I'm a professor and I'm super happy about that. I really like my job. I have a lot of fun with my students. I teach graphic design. That's not important. Or it is important to me, but let's continue. It's not important to the build. So I'll be able to work on the truck on the weekends and some weekdays in the afternoons. I'm going to put as much time into her as humanly possible, because my goal is to have it done within the next 6 months. I think I can accomplish that, especially once I get all the outside figured out and framed out. The inside is going to go a lot quicker than the outside did, I'm assuming. Of course, I'm no expert. I've never done this before. All right, so that's all I have for you today. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you following me along on this journey. Subscribe to the channel. Go and watch the other videos if you haven't seen them already. More content to come. All of that good stuff. I hope you have a rockin' day. Peace.